Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and hello everybody. This is the lecture number 12 and this is in continuation with two previous lectures we have started the other day on project cost management. And the first phase we had completed about estimates, and then we had started this thing on budgets. In this particular lecture, we will carry out this case study we had started in the project budget process phase in the previous lecture. So the topic of this lecture is development of budget case study. But before we move ahead, as you people do know that we have a summary of the previous lecture. So let's discuss this thing. In previous lecture, we had talked about the budget types and their importance, their advantages, their disadvantages, when to use which type of budget, and at times you are using many different type of budgets on very single project based on the need. And then we had discussed about reserve analysis in relevant slides, and as well as at the end in the summary, reserve analysis gives you the amount you are in need of beyond the estimated cost. So there are two types of reserves we do have with us as project manager, that contingency reserve, and the second one is the management reserve. The contingency reserves accounts for all the events which can be planned for. They may or may not happen, but you do have a cushion for if they do happen and how to actually managing them. But if something happens to the project and the cost is increasing by that event, then you must have some cushion for that as well at the management level, and that is called management reserve. And then we had talked about that the contingency reserves are under the control of the project manager and team, whereas the management reserve are out of the control of the project manager and team, as that is beyond or outside the project organization, and usually are dealt by the program manager. Then we had talked about when you actually do this reserve analysis for contingency, and for contingency reserve analysis we actually analyze the event or a risk which can actually happen, and we then evaluate how much the cost may be needed for to mitigate that risk. And when we have contingency for one particular event or risk associated with the cost, and remember that we had discussed that we won't consider all the risks of project in this analysis, as this topic is very much relevant to the cost only. So we will consider the cost risk only, or the risks which ultimately will lead towards the cost part of the project management. What if there is issue of the time, and time increase maybe there in schedule? So for that we also carry out reserve analysis, but that is not part of cost management while we are discussing reserve analysis and cost management. So we will be talking about only cost risk. So what if you are having 6 risks, and then you have calculated the reserve for every risk and for every activity, and then you actually add all 6 of them and you get one comprehensive total contingency allocation for your project. And what if one risk is not happened and the activity is over for which that risk was anticipated? Then this question was asked, what will you do with that money as the risk number 1 for which you had kept 10,000 rupees, and the activity has been completed, so the risk cannot happen now, as this risk was being in existing because of that very activity. Now the activity is gone, so the risk is gone, hence the reserve we have kept for that particular risk should be returned back to the management. And then one thing very important, if you have exploited or utilized all of your contingency reserves, all the risks have materialized and they have actually taken up all the resources kept for them, and then there are some certain events for which you were using management reserves, and that is an example of very poor risk management planning. But if God forbid this happened to your project, then what should you do? I mean, अब आप का प्रोजेक्ट है, उसके सारे कंटीजेंसी रिजर्व्स ख़त्म हो चुके हैं, सारे रिस्क एक्चुअली अकर हो चुके हैं, और कुछ ऐसे इवेंट्स भी हो चुके हैं जो आपने नहीं एंटिसिपेट किए थे. अननोन्स आर देयर. सो फॉर दैट यू आर एक्चुअली यूटिलाइजिंग मैनेजमेंट रिजर्व्स, और मैनेजमेंट रिजर्व्स भी ख़त्म हो गए हैं और स्टिल आपका प्रोजेक्ट अभी काफ़ी आगे है. अब आपको क्या करना चाहिए? नाउ दिस इज़ द क्वेश्चन जिसके ऊपर आपको मैनेजमेंट रिजर्व ख़त्म हो गए, कंटीजेंसी रिजर्व ख़त्म हो गए, तो शायद दिस इज़ द टाइम, दिस इज़ पॉइंट इन टाइम व्हेन यू डिसाइड टू शट इट ऑफ. द project should be abandoned because it is eating all the monetary resources, or you should go to the management and have all those changes approved, because the project may be of such importance that cost is not that important. But if the cost is the most important factor you are going for as far as project management is concerned, then you may have to abandon the project as well. So reserve analysis is such a delicate part of project management. It even guides you and to abandon or continue with the project. So then we had talked about cost aggregation, and we had this example of WBS, and WBS is the decomposition of the project into manageable work elements, and if the work elements are then termed as control accounts, and control accounts are further divided into planning packages and work packages, and then the cost of then work packages are divided into activities, and the cost of activities worked out, and all the activities are analyzed as far as cost is concerned, and the cost of all activities are worked out, and then submission is made, and we have the cost of work packages, and then cost of all the work packages get together to have the cost of control accounts, and then control accounts, the cost of control accounts is actually the summation of that is the cost of your project. So this was the concept of cost aggregation. Then we had discussed about funding limit reconciliations, WBS in detail, OBS, the interaction of OBS with WBS, and then this process of budgeting we had started with some definitions. Now we will move towards our new lecture. So before we actually keep working with our case study and complete that for budget, we will have to learn this very beautifully designed, very good tool, and that is contract baseline, elements of contract baseline. The contract baseline is comprised of 8 key elements. The first one is total contract price, and then total contract cost, and profit or fee. Now there is a difference between price and cost. Many people use these terms interchangeably, but now we will actually define what is the difference between the price and cost in this very session. Then contract budget base, CBB, and one very, very important thing, which is performance measurement baseline, or this is the level, or this is the figure, or this is the line, or whatever you call it. This is the standard you actually compare the cost and time and scope with. So how actually we develop this PMB as far as top-down methodology is concerned, we are going to do that, and we can actually create this PMB from bottom up, and that will be done in relevant sessions of this very course, like in earned value management. We will do that. And then there is a management reserve. You can see there the management reserve is not part of, is not at all part of PMB baseline. So contingency is part of baseline, cost baseline, but the management reserve is not part of baseline. And then performance measurement baseline is further divided into distributed budgets and undistributed budgets. What is the difference between those? We will discuss in relevant slides of this lecture. Then distributed budgets are divided into control accounts, and control accounts are divided into work packages and planning packages. So we had discussed about planning packages, the difference between planning package and work package, and we had discussed about the control accounts, the control account manager, the responsibility concept in detail in relevant slides of the previous lecture. So let's start with the explanation of the elements of contract baseline. So the first thing is total contract price, and total contract price is the total negotiated contract cost plus profit. So if you are selling this chair, and the chair is the cost of the chair is 100 rupees, and you are actually getting the profit of 20 rupees on that cost, so the price of that chair will be 120 rupees. So this is the difference between the price and cost. The cost is the amount which you have spent to create that product or service, and the price is something else. It includes the profit. So cost does not include the profit, right? So if you are for no, this is very important. The price for one person, maybe the cost of the other person. Like for me, I am actually buying that chair from you, and you are selling it. The cost of the chair for you is 100, and your profit is 20. But the cost of that very chair for me is 120 rupees, because that is what I have paid for. So this is very important. So that's why people used to use cost and price interchangeably, but you should have this very difference in your preview while you are talking about project management. So then is contract cost. Is the total negotiated contract cost without profit or fee. So if you exclude the fee out of price, then you get the cost. And how we actually come across with the cost thing, remember we had done this stuff of estimation the other day. We were talking about different types of estimates, rough order magnitude estimates, then approximate estimates, then definitive estimates, top-down approach, bottom-up approach. So through that you can actually get the total contract cost. Profit is the estimated profit or fee realized by executing the contract or project. Profit fee is not part of the contract budget base. So contract budget base में profit शामिल नहीं होता. This is profit plus contract cost is total contract price. Contract budget base represents the total budget for all authorized contractual work minus profit. The CBB can only be modified when duly authorized changes to contract are received. CBB is always calculated as follow: current negotiated contract cost plus estimated cost of additional unauthorized unpriced work yet to be negotiated. So there is a difference between contract cost and contract budget base. There is a difference. Now what is the difference? If you go back and have this slide, it is the total negotiated contract cost, and for CBB it includes total current negotiated cost plus estimated cost of unauthorized unpriced work yet to be negotiated. So while we were discussing this example, जो हम अगले दिन एक एग्जाम्पल दे रहे थे कि आपने एक प्रोजेक्ट करना है और उसमें आपने आपके प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर शादी हॉल बनाना है या मैरिज हॉल आपने कंस्ट्रक्ट करना है और उसके अंदर एक दूसरा पार्ट है रोड का. अब ये जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट अगर तो आपके साथ साइन हुआ है सिर्फ हॉल का, और तो ये आपकी बेसिकली जो भी कॉस्टिंग होगी वो हॉल की होगी. लेकिन देन ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आपको पता चलता है कि आपको दूसरा पार्ट भी शायद मिल जाए. या आपके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में लिखा हुआ है कि आप कंस्ट्रक्शन शुरू करवा दें मैरिज हॉल की, तो जो रोड है वो भी हम आपसे बनवाएंगे. बट कुछ चीज़ें इसके अंदर मिसिंग है. ना तो इसकी प्राइसिंग हुई है, ना ही स्कोप डिफाइन हुआ है, और ना ही कोई एस्टिमेट उसका जो है वो एक रफ एस्टिमेट तो है लेकिन डिटेल एस्टिमेट नहीं है. सो द कॉस्ट ऑफ actually negotiated priced current cost of that marriage hall, and then the unpriced unauthorized work which is and the estimated cost of that will make up this CBB contract budget base. So people usually do get confused between contract cost and contract budget base. So you should be very clear now. The contract cost is the one which has already been agreed, negotiated and current. Whereas अगर आप उसके अंदर वो component भी add कर लें which is unauthorized and negotiations are yet to be done, and the estimated cost of that will make CBB. And the most important thing in this contract baseline diagram, and that is PMB, performance measurement baseline. The performance measurement baseline is the time-phased budget plan against which contract or project performance is measured. It includes all the allocated or distributed budgets plus undistributed budget. PMB does not include management reserve. So this is very important. Management reserve is not part of performance measurement baseline. PMB is sum of all the control accounts. PMB is the sum of distribution as well as undistributed budgets, and PMB is contract base budget minus management reserve. So these are few formula which we may use over there. Performance measurement baseline का हमने ये भी कहा था कि ये टॉप डाउन तरीके से भी बन सकता है, ये आप निकाल सकते हैं, और बॉटम अप से भी आप ये निकाल सकते हैं. So we will try to have this case study on that, how to actually design that thing. And then management reserve. We had talked about reserve analysis while we were starting this budgeting thing and ending estimating thing, and I've told you the reserve analysis is a part of project cost estimation and project cost budgeting. So management reserve is designed. Once the CBB is established, the program manager establishes a management reserve prior to distribution budgets to performing organizations. The purpose for management reserve is to have a budget for the program manager to allocate for unforeseen problems. Again, MR is not part of performance measurement baseline because it is held at the program level only. Transactions into and or out of MR are approved by the program manager and not by the project manager. So this is the concept of management reserve. Then distributed budgets. Distributed budgets reflect the contractually authorized efforts allocated to the WBS elements. Now there are buzzwords, contractually authorized efforts. So यही अगर हम इसी की एग्जांपल लें मैरिज हॉल वाले की और इसके साथ रोड की और हम अज्यूम ये करते हैं कि दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ योर CBP and that is part of your management reserve has been deleted and then आपको ये पता है कि जी आपने जो आपको ऑथराइजेशन है वो ये है कि आप मैरिज हॉल स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं, रोड अभी स्टार्ट नहीं कर सकते जब तक कि आपको कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल नोटिस नहीं मिलता या कोई लेटर नहीं लिखता आपको क्लाइंट का, फिर आप उसको भी स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं. So distributed budgets include budgets assigned to control accounts during baseline establishment as well as work packages and planning packages. So distribution budgets are budgets assigned to control accounts. So over there you can have a look. Distributed budgets are actually comprised of those of planning packages, work packages, and then submission of those into control accounts. Okay, undistributed budgets applies to contractually authorized effort not yet allocated to WBS elements. The undistributed budget consists of budget for authorized changes for which there has not been adequate time to plan the change at the control account level. आप इसी प्रोजेक्ट को लें जो मैरिज हॉल वाला था, उसके साथ ही उन्होंने कहा कि मैरिज हॉल के साथ ही हम एक छोटा सा रेस्टोरेंट बनाना चाहते हैं. अब ये जो चीज़ है आप कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहे हैं, साथ ही रेस्टोरेंट का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इसी प्रोजेक्ट का हिस्सा बना दिया गया. अब ऑथराइजेशन मिल चुकी है लेकिन यू डू नॉट हैव दैट टाइम, आप क्योंकि काम कर रहे हैं कि आप उसको भी साथ में पूरे रिसोर्सेज लगा के उसको प्लान कर सकें. बाय दैट टाइम यू विल हैव अनडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड बजट for that. So undistributed budget is an element of performance measurement baseline, but it is not time phased because we didn't have the time to plan it for time and cost. Every effort should be taken to distribute budgets in a timely manner and to minimize undistributed budgets. So undistributed budgets are controlled by the project manager. Now this is very important. Everything below PMB is controlled by the project manager because his or her performance is going to be monitored by that level of PMB. And management, anything above or that including management reserve is the performance of the program manager is evaluated on that. We have seen these definitions, but before we start our and there are things like control account, work packages, and planning packages, and we have seen these slides earlier. Direct and indirect cost accounting. Direct costs applicable to and identified specifically with the project contract statement of the work. Examples of direct cost: labor, travel, materials, subcontractor charges. अब ये सारे के सारे जो काम हैं ये सारे के सारे प्रोजेक्ट से रिलेट करते हैं, तो ये प्रोजेक्ट की डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट है. इनडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट में charges that cannot be consistently or economically identified against a specific contract. These are calculated typically by applying rates and factors to the cost base. Examples of indirect cost: fringe benefits of the employees of the organization, overhead, material handling, general and administrative expenses, and then cost of money. So these are few examples of indirect cost, whereas the direct cost is one जो कि directly relate करती है किसी particular project के ऊपर. आपको पता है जी इधर 4 बंदे काम कर रहे हैं और 4 बंदों की जो कॉस्ट है वो 4,000 रुपये. अब जो 4,000 रुपये आपने निकाला ये डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट है, क्योंकि वो चारे बंदे इसी प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रहे हैं। और अगर यही 4 बंदे 2 प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम कर रहे हैं तो अगेन उनकी जो एफर्ट होगी, आधा टाइम वो इस प्रोजेक्ट को दे रहे हैं, आधा टाइम इस प्रोजेक्ट को दे रहे हैं, तो 2000 की जो कॉस्ट है वो इस प्रोजेक्ट नंबर 1 की है और 2000 रुपये प्रोजेक्ट नंबर 2 की है। तो इसको तो आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं और आप कह सकते हैं जी ये प्रोजेक्ट नंबर 1 के ऊपर डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट इसकी 2000 है और प्रोजेक्ट नंबर 2 के ऊपर इन रिसोर्सेज की डायरेक्ट कॉस्ट 2000 रुपीज है। इनडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट इनको आप उस तरह नहीं कर सकते हैं। लाइक आपने कुछ फ्रिंज बेनिफिट्स देने हैं या ओवरहेड्स हैं आपके, या आपकी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के कॉस्ट है जो आप प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च करते हैं। अब आप ये नहीं देख सकते कि किस प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर आपकी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ज्यादा काम कर रही है, और इसको किया तो जा सकता है लेकिन बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा, बहुत टाइम कंज्यूमिंग हो जाएगा। और स्पेशली जब आप कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री के अंदर हों या जब आप सोशल सेक्टर प्रोजेक्ट्स के अंदर हों तो कोशिश यही की जाती है कि उनको स्प्रेड कर दिया जाए। और अगर कुछ ऐसे हैं जिस तरह की कंसल्टेंसी के अंदर भी, अगर हम कंसल्टेंसी में चले जाएंगे या कंस्ट्रक्शन की कंसल्टेंसी में चले जाएं तो वो कोशिश करते हैं कि एक रिकॉर्ड रखें कि हमारे एम्प्लॉयज़ किस वक्त में किस एक्टिविटी के ऊपर काम कर रहे थे। बट अगेन they are actually trying to identify कि कौन सा प्रोजेक्ट हमें ज़्यादा नुकसान दे रहा है, कौन सा ज़्यादा प्रॉफिट दे रहा है। बट the concept remains the direct cost and indirect cost. Indirect costs are usually bear by the organization, and direct costs are charged to projects. So for in the ComSet's house building project, we have defined what will be performed, scope statement, determine how will it be tracked, work breakdown structure. We have developed that, remember in previous lecture. Now we have to determine the proposed total cost, price, assign labor, material, ODC, subcontractor resources to the work elements, and then apply burdens and fee to drive the total cost and price. So this is the breakdown structure over there, and we are having this organization or program, and this is the project we are running, and these are the control accounts. The other day we were talking level 3, and the remaining these 18 are the work packages we are considering. Okay, and then we had this thing, the explanation. Well, this is the name of the work element, and this is called as, this number 1.1.4 is called as WBS code. So this is this was discussed in other class in detail. So just reminding you that programs are divided into projects, and projects are divided into, more precisely, the programs are not divided into projects, but projects, different related projects make the program. Okay, but the projects are divided into phases. Large projects or complex projects are divided into phases so that to manage them, and then phases are divided into manageable work elements. Those may or may not be called as control accounts, but most of the time we call them control accounts after the phases. And then the control accounts are divided into work packages and or planning packages, and the work packages are then divided into activities. So, so there is one activity, and that is there is work package 1.1.2. 1.1.1.2 install patio. So we actually are going to have cost analysis of that. So there is an example of how we develop the price for WBS work package 1.1.1.2 to install patio. Patio, you know, this is kind of जिसे हम कहते हैं बरामदा या जिसके हम गाड़ी खड़ी करते हैं, और काफ़ी डिज़ाइन के और काफ़ी खूबसूरत पैशो जो है वो इंस्टॉल किए जाते हैं. So we assigned resources to this task, and based on the labor hours, material, and ODC dollars burdened by all the indirect rates, a total price of $11,574 has been estimated to complete this task. Now this this figure is how we get to that. I mean 11,574. How do we get that? And this is total price. Now there is a difference between price and cost, remember, and there is a word, and that is estimation. Now we are going to have an estimate. Let's go through that. And what is the process? This process is used to price each WBS element. On the next page is the complete price for the nest house. But before we go to the next slide or page, we actually try to understand how have we reached to this 11.574. So over there, first of all, we have to identify all the resources needed for this, and then we have identified that we are in need of a carpenter, then we are in need of drywall, then we are in need of electrical things and engineering things, and then materials. So these are few types of resources. And then we have worked out the effort. Carpenter is required for 40 hours, and then drywall 40, and then there is electrical thing that is for 4, and for engineering we are in need of 20 hours. And as far as the material is concerned, you know, we do not have hours for materials. Material is is having some rate. Now after calculating the effort of every resource over there, we have conducted this market survey, and we do know that our carpenter is actually costing us at $25 per hour, and then this drywall is for 15, and then this electrical person is for $40, and then this engineering guy is for $30.36. So through that we have hours and rate per hour we do have. So we will have the prime cost. Now prime cost is rate multiplied by the effort, hours, and rate per hour will give you the dollar amount. So for carpenter we have to spend $1,000, and for drywall we will have to spend $600, and for electrical we have to spend $160, and for engineering we have to spend $6 or $7. And material, we do not have hours, or but we may have the quantity. So in that case there is no quantity given over there, right? 0. So that means we are actually buying all the material, all the stuff, like if we are creating this patio with the wooden stuff, then wood and all the cements, all the beams, all the concrete, all the pillars, they all are inclusive, and hence the total cost of that material will be $2,000. And then there is other resources which may be needed, then 500, and this other is kind of the contingency thing. We are actually planning that thing. And then overheads. And overheads are given over there, they are calculated. So this is the salary of this carpenter, and then the company is also, we were talking about the worth of your time the other day. So this company is actually paying this carpenter $1,000, but they are actually spending more than that, and that is 1.5 times more than his or her salary. So 1.1666 US dollars are being kept for the carpenter. And then drywall, there is 1,000 rupees, and overheads are electrical guy are like 267, and then 825 for engineering guy, and for materials 109. Now what may be the overheads for the materials, like storage, like wastage and stuff like that, and others 27. Different things may come into that. And then G and A only for the human resources, and then communication for these, and then after that you are having a profit, how much profit you may want to add. So over there you can see you are having totals in this row, and you are actually calculating how much fees you will charge. So if you are paying your carpenter $1,000 and you are spending $1,666 as overheads and $422 as G&A, and then $2 for com, and then the fees you are actually planning to charge from the client of this resource is 618. That may be in percentage, 10% of the total cost you are incurring, or 15% or 20%, but again you have different formula for that, but for this we have actually calculated the profit margin we will have. So this is the total fee, and now total price is actually you go and add all the parameters over there. So this is and this and this and this, and you add all these different things, and then you get total price. And then by adding all these total prices, you will have this thing 11,574. Remember we were talking about from where we get this figure, this one. Now this is how we actually get this 11,574. And now, now if we go to the previous slide, we were analyzing only one element, work element over there. So if we have to consider all the elements, and like if we are discussing this poor foundation, so we may be in need of resources like excavator, and like concrete mixing machine, like concrete masons, supervisor, earthwork supervisor or concrete supervisor, and then engineer and others, so all these resources, and then we do consider the prime cost, and then overhead cost, and then fringe benefits and stuff like that, and then we move towards the total cost, total price, total cost, and then we add fee, and then we get total price, and all the prices of single resources is summed up to get to a total cost of an activity or work packages. So this is the setup, and after going through all the exercises for every work package over there, 18 of them, we come across with this thing. We are having this 11,574 cost. You remember we were calculating that thing in previous slide. So after calculating the cost and price of every work package in this WBS, 18 of them, and you can understand how. And let's say install fixtures, we talk about that. So the cost or the price of, now this is very important, the price of this work package is $24,831 US, and similarly we have actually covered 18 work packages. And now after completing the costing of work packages, what we do, we actually take only those work packages they form which form a control account. So these three I have marked are part of this control account concrete, and if you sum up all the amounts given over there, 20,452 plus 11,574 for installed patio, and then the price of stairway 19,067, then you get the total price for concrete control account 59,094 over there. Okay, so now we do have that, and by adding the prices of all the control accounts, and those are 6, we come across with the cost of our, or the price of our project, and that is 231,894 US dollars, and that is the cost of the program, assuming this program is having only one project at this point in time. So the total proposed price is 231,894 US dollars. After going through that, now the proposed price is 231,894 US dollars. However, the buyer of the CIIT house can only afford to pay 220,000. The CIIT has agreed to build the CIIT house for 219,999, but some revisions had to be made to the plans to utilize less expensive materials. The following summary reflects the negotiated cost and price to build the CIIT house over there. So the total cost is 183,852. The fee is 36,147, and total price is 219,999. How do we get this? 183,852. Where this is coming from, and this fee, okay, this is okay, because we do know that our buyer is going to afford only this much money, but we are in need of this and this. How did we get that? So following summary reflects the negotiated price by WBS to build the CIIT house. And now you are having this program worth of this, because total negotiated price was 219,999, and that is reflected over there. Okay, now by the proportion you had over there, like if we assume and safely assume that the cost of the first element is like 22%, and this is like 27%, and this is like 13%, and like 32%, and this is like 11%. So we are having some percentages over there, assuming so these are not the correct one, you know. So in previous slide, and let's go through that over there. We had some percentages over there, right? So this may be contributing like 22%, or this may be contributing like 5%. So we had preserved our percentages, and the one way of doing the thing is, if we are having now 220 at the top, and besides, but we had to shed 11,000 out of our total estimate, then we may come down with the same percentages. So similarly, they may form 100% of this, but this may be 30%, this may be 40%, and this may be like 30%. So same ratio may be adopted, and then we assign these values again. So remember how much we were actually paying for install issue, we were estimating that 11,574 would be the price. However, by this time we are having only 10,781 because total negotiated price is less than that. So this is the thing we had developed, and this is a good estimation. Now, estimate is with us now. The contract contract based elements would be discussed in upcoming slides. So remember, we had negotiated contract, and we can establish a contract base, budget base. The awarded amount to CIIT is 2,219,999, and this includes the profit and fee as well. The negotiated total cost without profit or fee for the CIIT house equals 183,852. Now, I was asking from where this is coming. So if you go back and have this slide over there, you are having this much fees for one work package. 1840 was the fee for install patio. So 11,574 was having that profit of 1840. But now as the cost has been reduced, or the price has been reduced, so the fees will be automatically reduced. Now you can segment. आप इस तरह करेंगे, सारे जो आपके वर्क पैकेजेस हैं उनकी जो फीस थी या जो उनका प्रॉफिट था उसको ऐड कर लें, ठीक है. और अब आपकी जो नई जो आई है कॉस्ट, उसमें से आप देख लें कि उसी रेशियो के साथ आप फी को कम कर चुके होंगे. सो द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कॉस्ट नाउ विल बी 183,852 over there, and the profit you have actually calculated is 36,147 dollars. So इस केस के अंदर हमने जो काम करना है वो यही है. इसमें कोई भी ऐसा अनऑथराइज्ड काम नहीं है जो अभी एस्टिमेटेड उसकी कॉस्ट हमने नहीं डालनी. अगर कोई होता तो हम उसको फिर इस जगह जो है हम उसको ले लेते, but that is not there. So hence the total contract cost will be the contract budget base, and that is 183,852. After developing this contract budget baseline, after that, the establishment of that, the management reserve is established by the program manager. In the case of the CIIT house, the program manager has decided to establish a management reserve amount equal to 10% of the contract budget base. अब जो उसने 10% रखा है, इसके ऊपर भी हम बात कर सकते हैं कि उसने 10% ही क्यों रखा है, 5% क्यों नहीं रखा, 15% क्यों नहीं रखा. तो ये एक जनरल प्रैक्टिस है 10% रखने की. दो कि हम इसको जब प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट की हम बात करते हैं तो हम इसको डिस्करेज करते हैं, और हम ये चाहते हैं कि प्रॉपर रिस्क एनालिसिस किए जाएं और प्रॉपर डाटा कलेक्शन की जाए, और प्रीवियस जो आपका डाटा है उसमें से देखा जाए कि बाकी प्रोजेक्ट्स जो इसी तरह के चल रहे थे उनमें कितनी अमाउंट जो है मैनेजमेंट रिजर्व की वो रखी गई थी, और वो काफ़ी थी. अगर आप 10% का रखते जाएंगे तो जो हमने पहले कहा था कि इनएफिशिएंसी आ जाती है जब हम किसी चीज़ को काफ़ी अर्सा क्वेश्चन नहीं करते, वो जो है एक नॉर्म बन जाता है, एक प्रैक्टिस बन जाती है, तो उस चीज़ को हम जो कंटिन्यूस इम्प्रूवमेंट का प्रोसेस है उसको हम डिनाई कर देते हैं. So 10% of the contract cost, that is 183,852 dollars, and then the management reserve is the 10% of that, and that becomes 183,855. So management reserve has been decided. So if you subtract this 18,385 from contract budget base, and that is 183,852, then you get 165,467. dollars. Now this is the amount the project manager will get. And within that amount the project manager has to complete the project. Now remember how much was agreed by the top management with the client, and that was 219,999 US dollars. So this is it, and you have to complete this job within that, because they have taken this profit out and they have taken this management reserve out. So what if nothing happens? So then where will this amount will go? Over there, the profit. So the profit will then be 46,147. But in that case, if management reserve is been exhausted and the project is at the end, and you are not going to abandon that project just because of, then your profit margin will actually come into play. And but in that case, the top management will be briefed, and the top management may ask a few questions, very serious questions, why our profit is being cut in that case. So the PMB has been given to the project manager, and according to this amount, their performance, the project manager's performance and the project team's performance is going to evaluate it against this much money. So we assume that all the PMB will be distributed, therefore distributed budget will be equal to the PMB, and undistributed budget will be equal to 0. So this is another step we have done. Now that the management reserves has been established by the program manager, target budgets are developed and distributed to the control account managers. Establishing the target budget will often be accomplished through a joint effort by the project manager and project team. Then they actually carry out control account level analysis and then work packages analysis, and then they decide which control account to get how much money, and which work packages to get how much money. And remember that the contingency amount through this amount, this 165,467 includes the contingency, and this is the authority of the project manager. So when you go there at control account level, then the project manager will retain the contingency reserve with him or her, and will give the money to control account less contingency, in similar fashion as was done by the program manager when he or she held the management reserve with her or him, and given the remaining amount to the project manager. So project manager will keep the contingency reserve with him or her, and then the team will actually work without them. And if there is a need, and that need was identified and anticipated in the planning stage, then the team will request the project manager to give them this amount from contingency reserve. And if there is happening something which was not anticipated by the team, by the project manager, or even the program manager or PMO, then the project manager will request something out of it. So there is a question, if the project manager for this particular project is having like 16,000 US dollars as contingency reserve, and none of the risk has actually surfaced by this time, and execution is in full swing, and the first risk which is anticipated is going to come very soon. But before that, a new risk has surfaced, and that was not anticipated by initial stages. What should the project manager do? One of the team member advises the project manager, sir, madam, we should not ask for the program manager, and we are having good contingency reserve of 16,000 US dollars. So we may be able to actually accommodate this new risk. Should the project manager accept or not? So the answer is not. The project manager should inform the program manager of this event, and hence he should demand extra money well before the time, so that the program manager will actually utilize this to pay the project manager. This concept is very much aligned with the previous concept we had discussed. If one risk is not actually happening, so the money is actually going back to the program level. The project manager is shedding that thing out of his control or her control. Okay, then when detailed planning reveals the target budget established for control account is unrealistic, too high or too low, the CAM, control account manager, or work package manager and project manager participate jointly to determine appropriate adjustments. In some cases, this may require the usage of MR. Once the budgets have been allocated to the control accounts, the control account budgets are further subdivided into work packages and planning packages. So here is the distributed budget for the entire CIIT WBS. Remember, this does not include profit, fee, and management reserve, but they do include at this point in time the contingency. So distributed budget is like if we are holding, now is the 165,467, and then this is divided into control accounts, and then control accounts say which chala gaya work packages ke andar. So this is, now remember we had estimated 11,400 and something, and we are actually giving the control account manager or work package manager $8,166. So if something happens and they ask for, this is not going to happen, the cost of that thing is high, and you are just giving us $8,166, but we are in need of $9,000. So the difference of 9,000 minus 8,166, and that is so $934 will be given by the program manager, and the project manager in consultation with the CAM will discuss this thing, and they will demand we are in need of this 934 out of this 18,385 US dollars. So this is the complete budgeting process, and now we can evaluate. Okay, there is work package, and that is assigned to, let's say, Mr. Zafar, and Mr. Zafar is responsible for the cost effectiveness. But the cost which was authorized for this activity was 6,255, and he spent 6,300, and the other one was the other work package was assigned to work pack, let's say Mr. Umar, and he spent 2,300. So this guy is not performing well, and this guy is performing well. So this is how we are having now a very good understanding. Now this is the budget for activity, and now we will actually explain it. So this is time phase budget of the this very house, and we do know that over there Poor Foundation has this budget of 15,394, and over there we are having. So this activity, Poor Foundation, will take some duration, and like 7 days, and it will cost 15,000 and 394. So this will be completed within the month of January, and the second activity will be completed within the month of January, and the third activity, 50% of that activity will be completed in January, and fourth activity 50% will be completed in January. So these are the activities will be completed wholly or partially within the month of February, and these are the activities which are completed within the third month, and a part of the last activity will be completed in fourth month. So these activities which are shown over there, they are having the cost of 165,467, out of which then we add the activities जो जनवरी में होंगी उनका हम देख लेंगे कि कितने पैसे चाहिए. उनको चाहिए 38,269, और आपको फरवरी में कितने पैसे चाहिए 73,412, और आपको चौथे महीने में चाहिए 49,130 US dollars, एंड देन फोर्थ महीने में आपको 4,656 डॉलर्स चाहिए हैं. तो ये वो रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं जो आप अपनी कंपनी के जो फाइनेंस मैनेजर है उसके साथ डिस्कस करेंगे, और आपको ये सारे पैसे इसी चीज़ के साथ चाहिए होंगे, और फिर आप इसकी फाइनेंशियल लिमिट्स की रिकॉन्सिलेशन करेंगे कि आपकी जो ये तो आपका वर्किंग है कि हमें ये पैसे चाहिए. हो सकता है आपके फाइनेंस मैनेजर ने आपके लिए लिमिट रखी हो 40,000, सो वेल इन टाइम, और वैन इन लाइन इसकी रखी 60,000, और अब आप प्लान करें कि हम 73 खर्च करेंगे, और इसके लिए उन्होंने रखी हो सकती है कि 50,000, और दिस बिकम्स 150, इसके लिए रखी हो 15,467 for this. But you have actually been using more resources over there, then you have to have meeting with those guys in finances so that your finances are available when they are in need. So this is how we actually develop our budget. Time phased की बात हम कर रहे थे, time phased budget. So now you can have a very good idea कि जनवरी में क्या होगा, जनवरी के फिर क्वार्टर्स में आप जा सकते हैं, फर्स्ट क्वार्टर, सेकंड क्वार्टर, थर्ड क्वार्टर, और फोर्थ क्वार्टर, और वीक्स में, और इस तरह आप इसको प्लान कर सकते हैं कि आपको पर डे क्या चाहिए है, पर वीक क्या चाहिए है, फिर आपको 10 डेज में कितना चाहिए है, बाय मंथली कितना चाहिए है, मंथली कितना चाहिए, ये सारा कुछ आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. सो दिस इज हाउ वी एक्चुअली क्रिएट दिस थिंग. And then is cost control. Project cost control includes monitoring cost performance, and we were talking about this stuff throughout our lecture, and ensuring that appropriate project changes are included in revised cost baseline, informing project stakeholders of authorized changes to the project that will affect cost. Cost control के ऊपर हम एक पूरा tool सीखेंगे, that is earned value management. That is the tool जो कि यूज़ किया जाता है कॉस्ट को कंट्रोल करने के लिए. हम उसके ऊपर केस स्टडीज करेंगे, जिस तरह हमने आज एक केस स्टडी की बजट बनाने की. So this is it, and in this lecture we had discussed about elements of contract baseline, price, cost, profit, management reserve, performance base, PMB, performance measurement baseline, distributed budgets, undistributed budgets, control accounts, work packages, planning packages. Then we had carried out this case study and in detail, and then we had developed a schedule and cost baseline for which we have to actually take good care of as far as cost and schedule are concerned. And then cost controlling के ऊपर हमने थोड़ी सी बात की, और फ्यूचर में हम इसके ऊपर काफ़ी सारी बात करेंगे. So this is it. So today's lecture ends with a story, and this is very good speech made by Brian Dyson of Coca-Cola CEO. He was by that time CEO of the Coca-Cola. He come up with this speech, and this is 30-second speech. He said, imagine life is a game in which you are juggling some 5 balls in the air. You name them: work, family, health, spirit, and friends. and you are keeping all them in the air, you will soon understand that the work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back to you. You have to do that. But the other 4 balls, the family, friends, health and spirit, are made of glass. If you drop one of those, they will be irrecoverably scuffed, marked, nickeled, damaged, or even shattered. They will never be the same. You must understand that and strive for it. Work efficiently during office hours and leave on time. Give the required time to your family, friends, and have proper rest. So this was the advice, and this is a very good speech made by the Coca-Cola company CEO, Mr. Brian. So this is the end note of today's lecture, and I say thank you, good luck, and Allah Hafiz.